and welcome to this edition of Consciousness Raising Online. And today is not going to be a hard charging session. In fact, I want it to be an uplifting session, one that will allow you to smile and to maybe for some do a paradigm shift about how we feel internally about Africa. You know, so many of us still see Africa in our minds as being like a country, not understanding that Africa is a continent that has at least 54 countries and hundreds, literally hundreds, if not a few thousand um, ethnicities or communities or whatever you want to call it. And you could take at least minimum two United States and put them in Africa, if not more. Okay, I think it's three at least. And so what I want to do is try to give us some information that will allow us to expand in our minds how we think of Africa. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you just to, for a few minutes with me, just dwell on the visuals that you'll see. And as I just give you some information about these visuals, allow yourself just to breathe it in and allow yourself to feel good about it. Now, what we're looking at right now, uh, this is called, excuse me, this is called Hogar Mountains. It's a highland region in the Central Sahara Desert in southern Algeria, and it's along the Tropic of Cancer. Now, the mountains cover an area of approximately 212,000 square miles, and the mountains are primarily composed of metamorphic rock, meaning from volcanoes, approximately 2 billion years old. Whoa, that's deep. And here, just so you have an idea of where it is, yeah, this is Algeria on a map, and this is where that star is where the Hogar Mountains are. Okay. Man, let's look at it one more time. And when you look at it, it's beautiful. This is beautiful. And again, it's in the Sahara Desert, um, along the Tropic of Cancer. And what I'm doing, I'm gonna slowly go through these so that you can allow the visuals just to, you know, just to take them in and appreciate them. I'm not trying to rush through them. Okay. And this is, by the way, this session is being done on uh, March the 10th, which is, what is it, spring forward. It's the daylight saving time change day. And so some of the people who are normally here, I think, since they haven't checked in yet, they forgot to move their clocks ahead of time. But that's the great thing about these, how we do these, is that it doesn't matter. You can see them at any time. Now, this is one of my favorite avenues. It's actually called the Avenue of the Baobabs. Some places they call it the Alley of the Baobabs, but I call it the Avenue of the Baobab because that's the name of these trees. Grandidier baobabs And this is in Madagascar. Now, the baobab trees, which locally they call them Renala, which means mother of the forest, and some of them are up to 2,800 years old. Yeah, and I have to mention this because of this. Let's go to. Let me show you. Um, Madagascar. If you notice, right over here on the left, over to the left, you see Mozambique, because it's off the continent of Africa, but it was once part of Africa. But here's the thing about Madagascar. I know you're probably familiar with the animated films about Madagascar. What has it been? Madagascar 1, 2, 3, whatever. And what appalled me, I think I've only watched part of one. It must have been the first one, I don't know. But what appalled me was that they don't show any of the people. This is all about these animals. And so you could actually watch these movies and not have any idea that we're talking about an island or a landmass that's part of Africa. They don't show any of the history of the African people, none of that. And that to me is straight up, they ought to be ashamed. So that's where Madagascar is. And that's where you can find these trees. One of the places, you can actually find them other places, but that's one of the places where you can find them. Okay? So I'll let you appreciate those trees. Those are magnificent trees. Okay. Now, this is, I appreciate this. I'm going to just let it sit there and let you look at it for a few minutes. This is an area, it's a small town called Bandiagara. Bandiagara. It's a small town and an urban commune in the Mopti region of Mali. The name Bandiagara translates roughly to large eating bowl because the meals are served in a communal bowl that everybody eats from. And I just love that. I just love that house there and those people. Look at that. And they're way up there too, right? Um, the population includes a number of different ethnic groups, including the Dogons, the Fulani, and the Bambaras. And as you look at that, just take it in, and the person that's standing out front looking over the see, I can't do that. I'm afraid of heights. In fact, I would probably have a tremendous challenge just going up there to where they are, even sitting in the house or the hut or whatever. Uh, but isn't that beautiful? It's actually very beautiful. Now they're in Mali. Let me let me see if we can show where Mali is. Okay, if you look at this map, go over to the left hand side and up in the corner, you'll see Algeria. Just below Algeria to the left is Mali. Okay, it's right next to Mauritania and Niger, and just above Burkina Faso and Guinea and Ivory Coast. That's where Mali is. Okay. Um, hmm. You want to see it again? Let's look at this village again. That is just so cool. All right. I mean, would you be brave enough to be able to go there? Have a meal out of the communal bowl? Bandiagara. Gara. Okay. Now, let's go. Now, we're somewhat familiar with this a little bit. Of course, this is Giza, and the Giza Pyramid Complex. Now, this is the Giza Pyramid Complex is on the Giza Plateau on the outskirts of Cairo, Egypt. It includes the three Great Pyramids, which is Khufu, there's Khufu Cheops, Khafre Chephren, and Menkaure Mykerinos. Those are the three Great Pyramids. And some people who have been in these sessions and part of Destiny have been there, and they can tell you for themselves. It is so magnificent that it defies words. It defies words. Especially when we realize that these are part of the original seven wonders of the world. It's the only one, the Great Pyramid of Giza, Khufu, being the largest. And these are the only ones that of the original seven wonders of the world. It's the only one still in existence. And when you realize they have been there for thousands of years, that's amazing to me. And even with the three little ones in front. And you know, the Europeans like to give up theories about how they think they were built and all of that. And they don't hold up at all. And I say that because of this. You could not build such magnificent, you cannot build such magnificence, okay, with slaves. Because it takes artisans to do this. And it takes a type of architecture that I don't believe we, to this day, really understand or comprehend. I don't care what kind of pulleys and rollers and all that kind of stuff they be trying to roll out. It would take thousands of years to do it that way. And I also say this. You cannot build these. You could not do this kind of building unless you had a lot of peace. You couldn't do this kind of building if people were at war with each other. Think about it. The resources that it took to build these, you couldn't do that if you were fighting. So I say that there had to be a long period of peace and cooperation for the art, the artistry, the architects, the builders to do these. And I defy anybody to prove me wrong. Wow, I just love looking at them. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay, let's look at the map again so we have it in our heads where they are. Okay, Pyramids of Giza, right up there near the top of Africa as we know it. Okay, some people know it differently, that it's the bottom of Africa, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Here is Kilimanjaro, or formerly is Mount Kilimanjaro, and it's because of this. Kilimanjaro is actually three volcanic cones: Kibo, Mwenzi, and Shira. It's three cones, but it's one dormant volcano in Tanzania. It is the highest mountain in Africa, about 16,100 feet from its base and 19,000 plus feet above sea level. So it is quite high. I never thought of it as being a dormant volcano. And I had no idea. I thought it was just a mountain. But I guess what are mountains? And years ago, I forget who told me this. They said, well, Kilimanjaro means killer man, killer man mountain. I know that there have been people who have tried to climb it and weren't successful. Let's see where it is. All right, it's in Tanzania. All right, Tanzania is down here to the right in the bottom half, and it's in yellow, Tanzania. Okay, so that you have in your head where Kilimanjaro is, the highest mountain in Africa. Okay, and by the way, here's another way to be able to see Madagascar, right? Okay, all righty. We'll take one more look at Kilimanjaro, so we can appreciate it one more time, and then we will move on to oh yeah, this is Lake Malawi or Malawi, and it's also known as Lake Nyasa in Tanzania and Lago Nyasa in Mozambique. It's an African Great Lake, and it's located between Malawi, Mozambique, and Tanzania. It's the fourth largest freshwater lake in the world by volume, the ninth largest lake in the world by area, and the third largest and second deepest lake in Africa. And Lake Malawi is home to more species of fish than any other lake in the world. But I love this particular graphic because look how clear that water is. Look how clear that is. That's something that I guess I'm when we look around, especially in the United States, um, the level of pollution of the air and the water and the soil it's unbelievable. And so to see that pure lake water, oh, when you go to the islands, to the Caribbean, the water's like that. But when you go around where these folks have been polluting for years, it's disgusting. Now let's see where this is in the world on the map. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, where you see in the middle of the map, it says Mozambique over to the right, and then just below it, you'll see Lake Malawi National Park. That's where it is, where that green box is. Okay. Yeah, and so I wanted to be able to stay clear like that. That would be nice, right? Uh, let's look at it again. And remember, I said it's the home to more species of fish than any other lake in the world, including at least 700 species of Cichlids. Let me see if I'll spell it, but I'll try and say it. Cichlids. It's Cichlids, cichlids. 700 species of this type of fish by itself. I never heard of it before, but hey, it's cool with me. So that's tremendous. And again, it's the beauty. It's the beauty. Now here's one that's mind blowing. This is mind blowing. This is Lake Naivasha. Lake Naivasha. And Lake Naivasha is a freshwater lake in Kenya. And as you see, those are flamingos. And it's known for the numbers of flamingos. The pink, now these are called the lesser flamingos. They're considered smaller and brighter pink than the greater flamingo. All I know is a whole lot of flamingos. Look at that. And apparently they're not dying. They're not being killed from pollution. Thank goodness. Thousands and thousands of them. See, this is what happens with other folks. They get to killing these people by polluting their water that they live in. You know, is really kind of bad. Yeah. Lake Night, what did I say? Naivasha. Now it's in Kenya. So let's look at the map and see where Kenya is. Some people know, but for those that don't know, remember when we looked at Tanzania a few minutes ago, down there where it's yellow? Right above it is Kenya. Nairobi is the capital. Okay? And for those who have missed it, you know, certain Barack Obama, his father was from Kenya. Okay? Let's go back and have one more look at those literally hundreds of thousands of flamingos. Wow, isn't that amazing? This is beautiful. Okay. Now this one, this is amazing to me. I'll let you look at it for a minute before I explain why I just love this photo and why I had to use it. Look at that. I will tell you that it's in Botswana. That's the country we're in. And I will tell you that also where this is known as the Botswana Salt Flats. It's a salt pan situated in the middle of the dry savanna of northeastern Botswana, and it's one of the largest salt flats in the world, but that's not why I have this photo up here. I have this graphic up here because I want you to notice something. Look at the sky. Look at the sky. When I was a child, I can recall going, you know, my mother used to send us down to her birth town where her parents lived. And this was in Kentucky. And I can recall sometimes at night, we'd be out, and of course this was in the summer, we'd be out and we'd be catching fireflies or what we used to call lightning bugs, right? And just having fun. But I can recall clearly looking up at the sky and seeing what looked like thousands and millions of stars. And I can't do that now. I can't do that in, I don't know where in the United States, but I definitely can't do it in Chicago. But when I saw this, that's what it reminded me of. And I want you to think for yourself, where have you ever been when you can look up at the sky and see thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of stars? Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? That also means there's little or no pollution there where this is, the salt flats. Let's see where Botswana is. Okay, Botswana is right there in the center, right next to Namibia, just above South Africa, next to Zimbabwe, Zambia, Angola. It's landlocked, as they like to call it, because if you notice, it's surrounded by land on all sides, so they can't get to the ocean. Okay? Wow. But that is such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful picture. Botswana salt flats. And I would want my children's children to be able to see a sky like that sometime in their life. All children deserve to be able to see a sky like that sometime in their life. Okay? All right. Now this is Maletsunyane Falls. I hope I'm saying this correctly. Maletsunyane Falls. It's on the Orange River in Lesotho. It's one of the world's highest waterfalls with a drop of 630 feet. I just like it because it's beautiful. But look at that all around it. See, this is why I wanted to do this, because as you've seen with some of these other graphics, Africa is beautiful. And that's why I wanted you to see the different countries and where they are on the map, because again, Africa is a huge continent. It's a continent of at least 54 countries. All kinds of landscapes, all kinds of areas. Look at that. As you can see, nobody's living there in anywhere near that. There's no villages near that. So it's a lot of room in Africa, ain't it? Let's see where Lesotho is. Let's look at Lesotho at the map. Okay. Now there's South Africa, and there's Lesotho in the circle. And again, it's a landlocked country because it's surrounded by other countries, mostly South Africa, or all of South Africa, actually. Lesotho. But it's got one of the highest waterfalls in the world. That's beautiful. It also, the other thing about this is they have not tried to turn it into something else. They've just allowed it to still be just as beautiful as it is. They haven't like tried to turn it into a power source or anything like that. Okay? So that's Lesotho, and it's a falls on the Orange River. Okay? Now, let me see. I'm not going to tell you where this is. I'm just going to let you drink it in for a minute. It is in Africa. I'll tell you this much about it. It's a north flowing river in northeastern Africa, and it's the longest river in the world. Now, and some sources try to say that the Amazon River is the longest, but this is the longest river in the world. It's approximately 4,130 miles long, and it's an international river because its drainage basin covers 11 countries: Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Kenya, Ethiopia, Eritrea, South Sudan, Republic of the Sudan, and Egypt. Now, by now, you know exactly what river this is, right? Yes, the Nile. It's the Nile. And look how beautiful it is. Yeah, that's gorgeous. They got the sailboats out there and stuff. But think about it. All those countries I just named, the Nile flows down through all those countries and drains into those countries, into their lakes. Hmm. It's a powerful, powerful river there, y'all. Yeah. In fact, let me see. I used this map before, but we can use it to see how it runs all the way through Egypt and down into Sudan, and it'll drain all the way through those other countries that I named. That's an amazing thing in and of itself. Yeah. Huh. Okay. And I just love that. It doesn't look so peaceful. It looks peaceful and mm, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Now here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Now, what we're looking at now is called the Serengeti. The Serengeti National Park, to be formal, but it's the Serengeti. And the Serengeti is in Tanzania. It's best known for its abundance of animals and for its annual migration of over 1.5 million white bearded wildebeest migration. Look at that. Those are wildebeest. And every year they migrate like that. 1.5 million of them. It's like, get out the way, here come the wildebeest. It's amazing. Now the Serengeti stretches 5,700 square miles north to Kenya and bordering Lake Victoria to the west. It has the highest concentration of large mammals on Earth, including rhinoceroses, and is known for its 2,500 lions, the largest concentration found anywhere. Now look at this graphic coming back up here. Those are lions in the trees. In the trees. And you got the babies down there and all of that. Those are lions. When years ago, when I first saw a photo of a lion up in the tree, I said, no. But they do that quite well. They actually think about it. Lions are cats, right? Cats get up in the trees, lions get up in the trees. The Serengeti is an amazing place, an amazing place. Like I say, from the wildebeest to the lions to the rhinoceroses. And you have to understand the rhinoceros is one of the most powerful animals in the world. They also have elephants. What is it? It's the largest, has the highest concentration of large mammals on Earth, the Serengeti. And I believe that the Maasai, I think it's the Maasai, are there. And they, believe that they called it, the word Serengeti is believed to come from a Maasai word similar to that. They misunderstood it, but it means the land that goes on forever. The land that goes on forever. And when you think about it, 5,000 miles is the Serengeti. And I can't, I'll be truthful. I think it would be quite scary to be anywhere near the wildebeest when they are migrating. Think about it, 1.5 million of them. You can hear them coming. Hear them coming from miles. Ooh, Lord. Wow. Yeah, that I think if I were able to go to Tanzania, I would want to go at least to some part of the Serengeti. I don't know if I want to go where the lions are in the trees, and I definitely don't want to be in the path of the wildebeest. But probably where the elephants are, and you got to watch out for them rhinoceros. They are big and powerful and strong too. So I'll pick my places. But it is beautiful. The Serengeti is beautiful. Now, this is called the Tundavala Gap. Tundavala Gap, and I included this. It's in Angola. It's a few miles from Lubango, Angola, and it's just so beautiful. It's called the Gap, and that's why I included the daylight and the nighttime. Look at this place. Now, in between the gap, you can see down in there's the city that I was talking about, Lubango. But now people go up there on the top up there to the top of the gap just to look down, just to look out. It's just incredible. And again, you almost have to remind yourself that you're looking at parts of Africa. They never show us this part of Africa. Oh, most of the time, what do? They show us what? Starving children with flies around their mouths and stuff. You know, they ought to be ashamed that they don't show us the beauty, the magnificence of Africa all over. And in fact, let's go look at where is Angola. Okay, Angola is below the Democratic Republic of Congo. To the right is Zambia. Uh, and below that is South Africa, of course. Uh, Luanda, that's the capital, I believe. And so it's a huge country. It's a huge country, Angola. They fought a long time to get their independence. Long time. Okay. So let's look at it again. Wow. Wow. Just beautiful. And for those that have inquiries about Africa, like, and I went to Senegal years ago, and people I work with were asking me questions like, "Do they have airports?" Yeah, they got airports. Then they asked questions like, "Well, do the cities have a?" No, they said, "Do the villages have lights and electricity and stuff?" Yeah, there's all different kinds of conditions. Because again, we're talking about a huge continent. Some parts of the continent and some countries are more advanced than others. But you have many of the cities, many of the countries, and many of the major cities are just as modern as anything in the United States. I don't know where we got such ignorance from, you know. but that's why I'm trying to do my best to help us open our minds. Now, this blew my mind. I'll let you sit here for a second and check it out and try to figure out what this is. I will tell you this much: it's in South Africa, okay? And what this is obviously some kind of farm, or at least they're growing something. But what are they? Well, this is a area called Franschhoek, South Africa. This is a vineyard. Yes, those are grapes. And that's a huge vineyard called Franschhoek. And I will bet money that, of course, is still in the hands of white vineyard, white folks that own it, that stole the land. And here's what got me about this place. All right, I went and looked it up, and here's what I found. I found that the racial makeup of the town, Franschhoek, look at this. It says black African 41.5%, colored 52%, white 5%. Now, here's what one of the things that disturbed me. Look at this. When you take black African and colored, and see, that's really from back in the day of apartheid, where some white folks decided whether you get to be black or whether you get to be colored. If you were colored, you had certain privileges in certain places you could live and work, whereas if you were black African, you couldn't do that. Trevor Noah, his father was, I know he was white, and so he couldn't live where his father lived. His mother, his mother couldn't go there because she was black. Okay, he got proclaimed to be colored, and so his mother had to hide him because technically he couldn't live with his mother who was black, and he couldn't live with his father who was white. Okay, but dig this, they're all black African and colored are still black. So if you take those two groups and add them up, what is that? 93.5% of the area is black. But look at the languages. 56.5% of the people speak Afrikaans. That really just pissed me, and I'll tell you why. Years ago, in the mid 1970s, there was a series of events over several years where African students protested being forced to learn Afrikaans. Afrikaans is a combination of German and Swedish and some other crap that the apartheid people, the leaders of the apartheid party, were trying to force them to learn. So they went out on protest. The military was sent in and they shot those kids. They shot those children. And it became like one of the spurs to the country, to the adults, to rise and protest. They really were the spark that started to turn against apartheid. And I think it was 1976, either 76 or 77. But the next year they protested again and again. A lot of them were shot. So the fact that they're saying that the first languages in a population of 93.5% black African and colored, that 56.5% speak Afrikaans as their first language, and Xhosa, 31%. No, that's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox, but I just want you to notice that because those are the things we don't notice. Okay, and so as I look at that vineyard, you know who picks them grapes, don't you? Because they ain't got enough white people to do it. It's only 5% white folks there. Mm, mm, mm. All right, I'm not gonna get into it about why they need to just take their land back and take over that vineyard. Because see, that's one of the things that the Europeans like to say. Oh no, those whites, that's their land, that's their vineyards, and no, they shouldn't be allowed to take that back or to buy it back or whatever. They stole it fair and square. You know what I'm saying? Hmm. Okay, some more beauty. This is Victoria Falls, and it's still called Victoria Falls, although it named after Queen Victoria. It's a waterfall in southern Africa on the Zambezi River, and it's at the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. Now, the African people call it Mosi Autunya, Mosi Autunya, which means the smoke that thunders. And I love that because if you could hear Lake Victoria, you would know why they say the smoke that thunders. It sounds thunderous 24 hours a day. That's a huge waterfall. Yeah. Mosi Oatunya. That is just gorgeous. That is just gorgeous. And I use this graphic because when you look at the bridge there, it gives you a sense of scale of how huge this waterfall is. Let's see where it is on the map. All right. You look on the map, go to the left side and up about halfway up, you'll see it. Victoria Falls, Zambia, and this is a map of Zimbabwe. Is the map, is the colored part. And remember, it says that it's on the border of Zimbabwe and Zambia. And that's where it is. Okay? Wow. I should have probably gotten a sound effect of how it sounds because it's truly loud. It's truly loud. Let me show you again just for wow. Wow. Isn't that tremendous? Yeah. Wow. Well, that about wraps this portion up. As I close out, I want to just briefly talk about now some of these graphics that you're seeing now. They're different areas that didn't go into specifically, but they are all in African countries. Uh, this is inside of a crater right there, where the zebras are, and you see the flamingos in the back. This is Table Mountain in South Africa in Cape Town. Uh, I forget where this beach is, but there's so much beauty in Africa, all across Africa. This is a forest. And let me, while I got you here with this, let me clear something up. This is another forest. It's a common misbelief that Africa is full of jungles. There are actually very few jungles in Africa. There are many forests, and there are savannas and plains. And one of the things, there's a song In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. No, lions don't live in jungles. They live on the plains and in savannas. Look, go Google some, go look up, do some searches online for photos of lions and look at where they are. They're not in no jungles. Now in South America, you have quite a few jungles, but in all of Africa, yeah, you got a few, but it's not a continent overrun with jungles. There's plenty of places like what you're looking at right there, and what you're looking at here, what we've seen in over the last 50 minutes, all kinds of places, just beautiful places. Okay, um, so hopefully this will spur you to want to find out more about Africa without the fear or the prejudice, uh, of what you've been fed your whole life. That's not true. It's to make you not want to go there, not to want to be a part of it, not to embrace it. But if you ask yourself this, if it's so undesirable, why do the Europeans fight? Number one, they fight to get over there. They stay over there, go there every chance they get. You know, if it's so undesirable, why do they like it so much? And again, I hope that it inspires you to want to know more and want to see more about the 54 plus countries of Africa, the continent, and the surrounding areas, and be able to appreciate it more because that's where you're from. Yeah. All right. I will close out with a little bit more of this for your graphic edification. And as always, I say no justice, no peace, no love, KNOW.